Jai Guruji. After 13 years, I come to Guruji. I had retired and was in Ahmedabad in 1998. I had no contact with Guruji for about 13 years. During June of 1998, I found it increasingly difficult to sleep. My wife advised me to locate Guruji and go to him. After making many inquiries, I found that Guruji had moved from Chandigarh to Jalandhar and from Jalandhar to Panchkula and from Panchkula to Delhi. I got his address. My neighbor, Mr. Kirtibai, was also keen to meet Guruji, and along with him, we reserved berths in Rajdhani for 10th July to reach Delhi on 11th July. I rang up Guruji's place in Delhi on 9 July to say that I was coming to Delhi. Someone picked up the phone and inquired if I was Colonel Chatterjee speaking from Ahmedabad. He also said that since today was Guru Purnima, Guruji was in part, but had predicted that Colonel Chatterjee would ring up at 7 p.m. from Ahmedabad. Through this person, Guruji indicated that he was aware I was coming and wanted me to come at 6 p.m. on 11 July. Kirti Bhai was also obviously puzzled. We reached Delhi and I bought a thick book on history, knowing that I would not be able to sleep at night. Thinking that Guruji was my own, I decided to go and meet him at 3 p.m. We reached Sultanpur at about 4 p.m. and a strange thing happened. We were not able to locate Empire State. After some time, I understood the problem. Guruji had asked us to come at 6 p.m. while we were there at 4 p.m. I then told Kirti Bhai that I have understood the problem and I would now use a strong remedy. I got down the car and prayed to Guruji, saying, "Enough is enough, please call us now." Immediately a boy came running and told us, "For a long time your car is neither going here nor there. Where do you want to go?" He then showed us the entrance gate to Empire State. Just beside the main road, it can hardly be missed. As we reached E-Villa, Guruji embraced me and said, "After many years you have come to me. You have not slept for 21 days. Tonight you will sleep. Have langar here." We went back to the hotel after having langar and I started reading the history tome. Soon I felt that someone was burning incense in the next room. A wonderful fragrance wafted into our room and I fell asleep immediately. Next day, I again came to Guruji, and while massaging his feet, I told him, "Guruji, earlier there used to be a fragrance all over near you. Now it is mild." He immediately replied, "Why? Did you not smell it at the hotel yesterday when I came to make you sleep?" My insomnia had been cured. During the same time, November of 1999, when I had come from Ahmedabad to meet Guruji in Delhi, he told me, "You will come to me." I had an interview at Siemens and I came a day before to Delhi. When I told him about the interview, he told me that I already had been selected and gave me particulars of the salary I would get. Of course, I got the same amount. The langar and prasad cures. For a few months in 2006, my right ring finger was not bending and there was an immense pain. The doctors told me the sleeve of the ligament had dried up and was incurable. They advised me to take painkillers. I narrated the problem to Guruji and he had ordered me to remove all the rings with precious stones I wore on my hand. The very next day, my finger was cured. But then the right finger started paining. After a few days, I told Guruji of the problem. And he told me to dip the finger in hot water. Thinking that he may not heal me at that time, I requested him to cure me. He then told me to have langar. After having 3 langars, it was cured. Sometime in 2000, I found in the morning that my left hand had no sensation. And I could not move it. It was paralyzed. The same evening, I went to Sangat, and when Guruji was distributing prasad, I told him about the problem. A little forcefully, he told me to take the prasad and have it outside. As soon as I ate the prasad, I felt a tingling sensation in my paralyzed hand. He again gave me prasad and I ate it. Now I could move my fingers and the hand. He gave me prasad for the third time, and mobility was restored to my hand within 15 minutes. Cure for the baldness. My wife was getting bald from the front. For 3 years, all her efforts to stem baldness, aloe vera shampoo, Arnica Plus, Shahnaz Hussain had been in vain. When I came to Delhi, I told Guruji about the problem. He immediately said, "Baby auntie," waved a hand and then said, "Hath gaya. It will take some time." Within a week, fresh hair had covered the affected areas and she was soon cured. In 2003, I started to have urinary problem. Finally, the doctors advised a prostate gland operation. I was attending Guruji's Sangat and mentally told him, "Please cure me." He immediately raised his right hand above his head and did some mudra. The thumb rubbing the index finger, I felt he had done something for me but was confused. I then prayed, "If this is for me, then Guruji, please look at me." He did so and I was convinced. Next day on, I was so cured. Bringing rains for me in Kolkata. During the end of April 2007, I had to go to Kolkata. After Langar, I wanted to take permission from Guruji and request him to keep Kolkata air-conditioned during my stay. But he angrily told me, "Leave your job and come to me." I could not say anything. Later he told Gayatri that he had sent rains in Kolkata for Chatterjee. I boarded the Rajdhani on Friday evening and rang up my relative at Kolkata. He told me it was raining cats and dogs. Throughout my 9 days stay there, it was either cloudy or drizzling. When I returned to Delhi, Guruji smiled at me and said, "Was it raining in Kolkata?" I told him, "You were so angry with me that I could not ask you. However, you took pity on me and knew what was in my heart." He said, "Ja aish kar, divine gifts." Once in Chandigarh, Guruji, upon meeting a lady closely related to a chief minister, raised his hand and manifested a gold ear top and gave it to her. But the lady complained, "What am I going to do with one ear top?" Guruji again raised his hand and manifested a second gold ear top. The lady continued to complain, "Guruji, the designs are not the same." Guruji then said, "I cannot do anything. Shivji has given whatever he has given." Once after Langar, when the Sangat had thinned out at Empire State, we sat down around Guruji. He asked Mr. Harminder Singh, director of Siemens, "Have you heard of the experiences of Chatterjee?" He replied in the negative, and I was asked to narrate my experiences. After a while, Guruji became stiff and red in color. Suddenly, he raised his hand and a damru-like thing came into his hand from nowhere. He immediately gave it to the Maneka Gandhi and became still like a statue in the Namaskar Mudra. After a while he said, "Let's see what Shivji has given." He broke open the damru-like thing and a khoya type of prasad was found. He distributed it to everyone and yet there was some left. He gave it to Menaka and said, "Do not keep in the fridge, it will never spoil." Satsang of late Colonel retired D.S. Chatterjee, executive with Siemens. Jai Guruji.